The Ivory Lord, A Hero Born, Volume 1. The soldier waited with bated breath. His hand gripped the blade haft tightly, turning his knuckles ashen white. His sword arm shook nervously as he stood behind the others, waiting for his chance to strike. Any moment now the Elysian patrol would pass by. He had to wonder, though, what exactly had he gotten himself into? His name was Eric DeLeeson, and even he didn't know where his part in all of this began. An innkeeper's son, barely of age, his family tree was literally dripping with proud horse breeders, farm hands, and, like his father, cooks. He had as much warrior's blood flowing through his body as he did muscles in his arms and back, which is to say, almost none. Yet here he stood, armor hanging loosely on his thin frame, holding a sword he barely knew how to use. Eric wished he could say that he had joined the militia to gain revenge or honor, that his father and mother had been slain in an Elysian attack, or that the love of his life was taken to the slave camps of the evil Elysians. By the 8 he would have settled for any excuse in which the Elysians wronged his family. But no, Eric's family was safe and sound. His pleasantly plump parents happily ran an inn in one of the small towns that dotted High Rock. And the love of his life? Well, there was none. He had never felt the embrace of a damsel or tasted the kiss of serving wench. So why did he want to fight the Elysians? Well, he had heard bad things about them, but as far as he was concerned, it was all rumor and innuendo. He had lived a sheltered life. No, the reason Eric stood next to Kishna, the fierce Khajiit maiden, and Kaladin, the handsome Iliad knight, wasn't quite so lofty. It was more mere chance and accident that had led him to this time and place. He had been sneaking off into the woods at night to practice the same fighting techniques he'd seen the city guard practice. He wanted to learn how to fight, but he did not want anyone to see him doing it. There was too much of a chance someone would make fun of him. After all, he was just a cook's son. So every night Eric would grab his rusty sword and mismatched armor and head into the woods to train. But tonight would be different. There would be no more practice. As Eric ran through back alleys to reach the hole in the wall he knew so well, he turned a corner and almost ran right into them. His breath caught in his throat when he saw them. A handful of men and women from different cultures all huddled together, whispering. They wore impressive uniforms and carried even more impressive weapons. Cautiously he approached them, but Eric had little skill or grace. He tripped over his own feet and landed in a puddle with a loud splash. The warriors turned as one, weapons drawn and eyes hard. But they saw his armor and weapons and assumed he was there to meet them. Being too afraid to say otherwise, Eric was welcomed into their group. It was a simple case of mistaken identity. Later, he might have called it fate. But tonight was the night Eric Delane was going to die. And that event would change the world around him forever.